that be hard, but that be having me over here jerking.
True
Nah,
that.
what's up? What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Check Down. We are the crew, man. You know what I'm saying? Pop, J Mick. J Mick, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. It's a weekend. It's sunny outside. The weather's good, so I can't complain.
Pop, how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. Can't wait to get down with this list, see what people's thoughts are.
Yeah, man. The controversy really begins in the top 10. You know what it is. Everybody in the top 10 complain about not being there. And then they're going to complain about teams that's there that, probably shouldn't be there. Anything interesting happened to y'all in OTAs this week?
Not really. I mean, like people saying that Drake May looking good. I mean, he's in like the 7-on-7 drill. So, yeah.
Oh man, hey Stu! Shout out to Stu, man. He gifted 5 people memberships to the podcast, man. So 5 people gonna get memberships. I'm not sure how. I think it's random. So they'll get it, man. All those people that get the 5 memberships, I think I should be alerted when you get it. And shout out to Stu, man. He looking out for the people, man. Looking out for the people. But now we had a good one, man. John Ross kind of been standing out from what I've been listening to in OTAs. He been finding ways to get open. Paris Campbell had a couple good days. Isaiah Rogers, which I told you, J Mick, I was very happy to have him on the squad. They said he been going crazy. They said they said a lot of players were like they surprised that he in such good shape after having a year off. Like they saying he in football shape already.
And that's the boy from the Colts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, like, he was good with the Colts, and then he had that little situation where he got suspended for the year. So I was kind of surprised that the Colts cut him or they traded him.
Cut him.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they just didn't try to hold on to him. But yeah.
They cut him, and the next day we picked him up.
Y'all ain't waste no time.
Yeah, we snatched him up. Hey, listen, they say that boy showing out though. He had a pick 6 the first 7-on-7 yesterday.
I mean, who was it against though?
Jalen.
Oh, okay, interesting.
They said Jalen tried to squeeze it to AJ between him and Cooper DeJean. And Isaiah Rogers picked that thing, took it to the crib.
Okay, interesting.
Now we was talking about Isaiah Rogers. Yeah, Paris Campbell played for the Giants last year, but he been all right. He been all right. He been showing up a little bit. I'm ready to see what they bring to the table, man. Any news on Spencer Rattler, man? We trying to find out if he done took Derek Carr's spot yet, man. I might bet a couple dollars on y'all. All right.
Yeah,
I guess there's no news on Spencer Rattler.
Nah, like I'm having audio issues, bro. It's like but Spencer Rattler's been good. It's actually Jake Hayner who's been showing improvement. He was our quarterback draft pick from last year. He's been showing some improvement this year. They've been liking what they've seen in his growth and development. Spencer, he's been struggling a bit, but that's kind of something I expected already. The surprise came with the news about Taysom Hill's role. Normally, he's like our do-it-all player, but he's really been focusing on fullback and tight end specifically during OTA so far. So that's something that I've been paying attention to. But overall, it's been pretty good from what I'm hearing from some of the positions that we addressed, like wide receiver. But means have been showing flashes and stuff like that. So it's looking good so far.
Sound good. What Jay made no news on Javon, right? No news on Baker.
I mean, Baker was at OTAs and practicing and all that. I mean, he was doing pretty good for the most part. I haven't heard anything bad. I mean, like there were reports coming out, like from his like footwork and stuff like that. And I think it was footwork, talking about his footwork and then talking about his off the field stuff. Like that's that's why he fell to the fourth. But I mean, honestly, I don't really care about all that. Like what I mean. Like, going into the draft, I mean, off field stuff is what people want to focus on. But I mean, he a 4th-round pick, so if he turns out to be anything, then it's worth the draft pick. If he doesn't, it's just a 4th-round pick, and we'll just move on from it. So, but I mean, it's OTAs, man. I'm not a heavy OTAs kind of guy. I mean, like if you're performing really bad, then I'll put something into it. But if you're doing, somewhat good, then that's all I really care about.
Yeah, it's been decent so far for everybody. I think. I don't think it's been bad for anybody yet. It's gonna be interesting though, because a lot of teams are changing a lot of rules. Man, it's gonna be interesting. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a lot of new quarterbacks, a lot of new receiver quarterback duos, offensive line changes, defensive lines. A lot of teams that's in the rebuild, they're gonna get to see kind of where they at after the draft.
And I just think that, like I just think the league is in a good place. Whereas, yeah, I mean the Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls, but you got a lot of teams that's in the mix to make the playoffs and that can make runs. So it's not like nobody like there. I mean, like there are certain teams that that just aren't going to be playoff contenders, but a lot of the teams are going to be vying for those spots. And you just got to see how it turns out pretty much.
It's gonna be fun to see.
That's a fact. And also, I'm looking forward to see what these new kickoff rules are to start the season. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see um the players, what type of positions the players are going to be put in with rules and stuff like that. So
I think you're gonna see a lot of superstars back there too, man. Like a lot of guys that wouldn't normally play kick return or punt return. I mean,
hmm
kick return. You're gonna see a lot of those guys take the opportunity since
hmm
it's not so much bang bang anymore.
yeah, I think this is an exciting season for football. We're gonna see a lot of teams um make the rise, and we'll be surprised by some of the teams that are gonna fall out of playoff contention. But it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Who's the team? Who's the team y'all see not making the playoffs, man? That you think should make the playoffs?
Right now, the Bills.
Yeah, just right now. Yeah, a lot of people say
The
the
Bills.
Bills.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean, I know they have some roster turnover, but they're also got younger. Um, it's got to be in the AFC because like the NFC kind of, top dogs are the top dogs in the NFC. I don't see any changes there. I'm just trying to think. I mean, like maybe you could say the Dolphins because like the Dolphins made the playoffs last year, and they're kind of in a gray area because like a lot of teams in the AFC gotten better. And so, yeah, like the Dolphins got better on offense, but I think they got worse on defense. And so I got to see how their defense looks. But if I was picking a team that made the playoffs last year that might not make it this year, I would probably either look at them or Pittsburgh. Those are the kind of the two teams that I'm kind of looking at.
I'm with you on the Denver Pittsburgh. Um, other one a hot take, man. I ain't gonna even do it. I ain't gonna even do
I mean,
this.
go ahead, man, Mr. Pod, man, go ahead.
I don't think the Cowboys gonna make the playoffs, man.
I mean, it's just debate. I mean, for
I
me, it's the
just
whole
like
situation.
looking at the roster, just like you got CeeDee Lamb or bust on offense, right? Because Zeke, I don't care what nobody tell me. He not Zeke of the old. He gonna have to do a lot of improvement. So like I just don't see how that works out, right? And then you got Brandon Cooks. I mean, he really didn't show up last year like that. You got a new offensive line. I mean, Mike Zimmer, yes, is a decent DC, but is he really the DC for them? You know what I mean? Is he gonna be able to fix their woes? Like,
I mean, I don't see why not though, because their coach is an offensive coach. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't. I mean, yeah, he's been a head coach for a long time, but he's not a defensive minded coach. I think he's gonna let Zimmerman just kind of run with it. I mean, I
no,
don't.
he ain't gonna be in the way. He definitely not gonna get in the way. But it's
Nah.
just like I just don't know, man. I thought like I don't know. I just that's my one hot take of the year, man. I just don't see it.
I can understand it specifically. I don't know. I need to see what Zeke looks like back with them. They lost Tony Pollard, who I think was a decent running back for them last year. I still don't know who their wide receiver three is going to be because Gallup left after this previous year. Um, The health of Diggs, I need to see what that is because he did get a major injury into last season. So that's a question mark. But overall, I think the Cowboys could potentially make a wild card spot. I don't see them like falling out the playoffs.
But didn't Diggs get hurt he got hurt in the preseason, right, last year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's not as bad as getting hurt mid-season. So I mean, he's going, and I think it was an ACL, so it's not like an Achilles or anything. So he's going to have like a full 2 months to recover before he has to play in the game because I don't see him playing in any preseason games. So,
I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna see. Everything changes. Like everything changes things. You know what I mean? So I just don't know how it works out for him. It just
I
seems a
mean,
little iffy for me.
yeah, I mean, the problem with the NFC that I see is that you got about 3 or 4 teams, and unless they suffer major catastrophic injuries, like teams like the Niners, teams like the Lions, I mean, teams like the Eagles and who else am I thinking about? Yeah, like those 4 teams, like or 3 or 4 teams, unless they have catastrophic injuries, I don't know how they not in the playoffs. Like so,
All right, man. So Smitty with the hot take hour. You know what I mean? You're gonna drop this number 10 though. At number 10 on the check downs preseason power rankings, we got the Bengals coming in at 10. I kind of like the Bengals at 10. I mean, I think it works out. You know what I'm saying? They defense, they losing a few pieces. Didn't they lose a D tackle in this offseason? They lost a D tackle, DJ Reader, right?
yeah, he went to the Lions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they lose that. I mean, their defense already was kind of subpar, you know what I'm saying? After losing, Jesse Bates and a few other guys in the previous season, you got a guy that now coming from the Saints wants to leave. He won't out. He asked for a trade, you know what I'm saying? So that's a possibility not to be there. You got both of your wide receivers right now in a stalemate. You got your running back playing for a new team in the Texans. I don't know if you 100% completed the restructure of that offensive line. Like you had 10, but at the same time, it's like you had 10 for a reason. Like, yes, you have one of the best quarterbacks in this list, moving forward, but with the pieces you have around them, I don't think you surpass all the other guys. But I think there's other teams that have a lot of issues too. But I think to me, right now, out of the top 10, I would say the Bengals are, and the next team on the list, I think, are kind of in the same boat where they got a lot of pieces that you got to answer questions about because you just don't know. So I think the Bengals at 10 is a nice spot.
Yeah, I mean, like the way I look at the Bengals is like I like their offseason to me was pretty good, man, because free agency. I mean, yeah, they lost DJ Reader to the Lions, but they also added Trent Brown from the Patriots. I mean, he's a solid left tackle in the league. And I've watched Trent for the last couple of years. The only thing I say about Trent is like if he's motivated, he's a really good tackle. That's just the issue is he going to be motivated? And I think he will be because I mean, let's just face facts. Like Patriots is my team, but we weren't very good the last couple of years. So I mean, like you take that, and now he's going to be on a team that as long as Joe Burrow is healthy, they've made the playoffs. And so I don't think he's going to have any issue being motivated to play. I mean, I think he's going to be ready to go, and he's going to be motivated to have a really good season. They also signed Mike Gesicki from the Patriots as well, tight end. I mean, he's a good pass catching tight end. I mean, he's nothing special, but he's all right. But I did like what they did in the draft, though. Like the draft, they drafted Mims out of Georgia, the tackle. I mean, from my thinking, like if he does play, he'll be playing the right tackle. If he does play, if he doesn't, he'll be backing up, and he'll give himself a chance to develop. And then for losing some pieces on defense, like they added Chris Jenkins from Michigan, and they also added the D tackle from Texas A&M, McKinley Jackson. And they had some other picks like Eric All, the tight end out of Iowa, and they drafted Jermaine Burton out of Alabama. So I mean, like they addressed a lot of their needs in the draft. I mean, like the thing about for me with the Bengals is they're good at for me that I'm good with them at 10, but I guess the issue is they could definitely be a lot higher than 10, but they could also be lower than 10. And it just hinges on Joe Burrow's health. And if Joe Burrow can stay healthy, then I think they'll, I mean, by the end of the season, like they'll be a top 10 team. But if he doesn't, they just won't be there.
I agree, and I think that's why they made those moves in the offseason and in the draft to shore up that offensive line to protect Joe Burrow. I agree with the moves that they made in the draft in regards to wide receiver core. Like, I think they addressed the needs, especially with the loss of Tyler Boyd, who went to the Titans. I think they addressed that. Overall, it's just that can Joe Burrow stay healthy throughout the season, because we've seen how the team kind of falls off in play when he's not at the helm. So the Bengals could potentially be like at 10, even higher, but it's really Joe Burrow's health throughout the season that really will take this team where it needs to be.
Hey man, shout out to Stu, the first person that got gifted one of the memberships, Ready Red. Shout out to Stu, man. He gifted 5 people memberships to the podcast. Ready Red was one of them, man. I don't know if he got it himself, but he didn't know how the bird got this, so he got gifted one of those memberships, man. 5 people gonna get memberships from Stu today. That's what's up. Looking out for the people, the good people, the good people. Nah, man, the Bengals though, like, what happens if they don't pay like one of those dudes, man? Like,
yeah, but you gotta understand, like their owner, bro. That he's not gonna trade you though. He got a history of you asking for that trade, you're not gonna get it, bro. Like so. I mean, for like T. Higgins, I've been saying it for months. Like T. Higgins, he got franchised. I mean, and they're going, he gonna have to sign that thing. He gonna have to play. I mean, at least this 1 year. Like, I don't think they're gonna pay T. Like, I think what's gonna end up happening is either they're not gonna franchise him next year, let him walk, or I mean, they're gonna try to trade him next year. And the same thing goes for like Troy. I mean, like with Trey Henderson. Like they just gave him another deal 2 years ago, and so he feel like he's just outperformed the deal. So he want a raise. He want another deal. And I think eventually he might get it. It's just not gonna be this year. Like, he literally just signed that thing 2 years ago. And I mean, like the way that owner worked, where like, I mean, like the issue with him is like Carson Palmer said that if he didn't get traded, he was going to retire. And he just did not want to trade that guy. He eventually did trade him. I mean, I think he traded him I think he traded Arizona for 2 first-round picks or something like that. But I mean, that's the issue with their owner. Like, he's like a hard line guy. Like, he's not gonna do something unless he want to do it.
Well, I don't know how it's gonna play out, man. I don't see how it's gonna play out. I mean, you got two people requesting trades, and then the other one just really he know he gonna get paid. He just holding up.
And I think
Jamar, isn't Chase due for a contract next year?
They exercised his 5th-year extension to his rookie deal. But like, I think Chase wants to resign. I think he's just waiting for Jettis. Like, I think the money already laid out there for him, but he's like, no, I'm gonna chill out till Jettis gets paid, and like then he wants his deal after that. So,
but why? Sometimes I don't understand that. Like, you just want to be the last one paid. Like,
the last one paid is the highest paid, my boy.
Facts, and I think that's what's happening.
This feel like some homeboy stuff. Like, I bet you I get paid more than you. Nah, I'm gonna hold out until you get paid. How about that? Yeah. I'm gonna wait for you. I'm gonna get paid more than you. Yeah, this seems like we was LSU homeboys. I'm gonna get paid more than you.
I mean, they're really good friends for what I hear. Like, I mean, off the field. So
they dogs. Like, if you ever listen to them, they always talk about each other. So. Yeah. They always have a good smile on their face, laughing and kikiing about each other. So I can bet it's something like that. Like, we go see who get paid. Boy, watch what I do. Watch how I change the game.
I could definitely see that happening. Right,
yeah,
because they did that when they first got into the league. They did that. They was competing with each other and who's gonna have the better numbers, like after the season and stuff like that. So I know it's probably friendly competition between them, but. Yeah, I mean, like Chase, like I'm just saying, I will hold out to see what bag Jettis get, because maybe I can get something similar or even more. Like,
who can hold out longer though? Who got to sign first is the question.
I don't think. I think they. I mean, I mean, didn't they come out the same draft, or did
Yeah.
come out?
We in the
Chase got
same draft class.
drafted in the first 5 picks, and then Jettas got drafted at like between 22 and 24. I can't remember his exact draft pick, but it was the same draft.
It was definitely 22 because we had the 24 pick, and I was pissed that them niggas drafted him. I was
yeah.
I was so mad, but yeah, I mean,
y'all want to know who we drafted?
Well, yeah, y'all drafted.
Wasn't that Rager?
Yeah,
I remember that. Because I thought Jettas was going to the Eagles that draft. That was so funny.
I was sitting in front of the TV.
And when y'all drafted Rager, I said,
I was on the phone with my brother. I was like, bro, we got Jettas. We got Jettas. It's over with. They said Jalen Rager. He said, bro, who is that? No, this is
y'all did that. I think y'all did that a couple years before.
The year before.
When y'all took,
we did it the year before. We took JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was just bad.
JJ Arcega-Whiteside was the worst.
I mean, but I don't think anybody knew that Jettas. I mean, I thought he was going to be good in the league. I didn't think he was going to be like number one, wide receiver.
I thought he would have been a decent for our woes at the time after taking JJ Arcega.
This might sound like fandom because I'm an LSU fan, but coming in that draft, I was telling people was like, "Oh, you a homer? I said, Jettas is gonna be the one. Like Chase is a dog too, but Jettas is gonna be the one. I'm like, y'all really ain't been watching them boys, and I think Jettas is gonna be the best wide receiver in the class.
I don't know. That's that for me. Like I watch a lot of college football, but that's just hard to say with Jamar Chase coming out there. Like that was hard for me to say.
Nah, I understood like the chase. Like I got it, but I was like, it was just something about how he played. Jettas played. I said, nah, he definitely could be a dog depending on the team he goes. Yeah, he gonna be a dog.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Jettas was gonna be good. I just didn't think like he was gonna be top 5 wide receiver good. That's all.
Hey, Ready Red. It ain't that he don't draft good receivers. That man was in there listening to the analytic group. You said Jalen Rager is more dynamic than Jettas because he's smaller and faster. Oh, we taking him. You idiot. He ain't mess up the next year though. That boy said, "Oh, we're going to get Devontae." No, Smith did not fault us. We had to trade up with y'all goofies. Y'all let Smith come to the Eagles. Cowboy fans. Yeah,
y'all couldn't go another year without getting a wide receiver, bro.
Listen, it was gonna be like this. If they would have took Devontae Smith, we'd have took Micah.
Yeah, that's literally how it was gonna go.
Okay.
That was it. If you take Devontae, we taking Micah. And at the time they had CD. Like we don't really need Devontae. All right, we'll trade back with y'all. Yeah, come on, let's do it. Or we gonna make Dak Prescott life a living hell with no offense.
I mean, they've always had an offense since he's been there.
I said we wasn't gonna have no offense.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, man, like the as long as Dak been the quarterback, man, they've always had a big. They've had like I think every year he's played it. I think they've had a top 10 offense every single year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about us though. We was gonna be the ones without the offense. We were gonna have no offense. We didn't get Devontae Smith.
I mean, but you drafted Devontae, and then with the next year you traded for AJ anyway. So
yeah. All right. So coming in at number 9, the AFC East. I guess this would be the champions, right? This would be the AFC East champion, right?
Yeah, I mean they're the reigning champs. I think they won it the last 3 years. It's either 3 or 4.
I'm saying in our rankings they would be considered a champ too. So
yeah,
the Buffalo Bills, man. Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie. Buffalo Bills, I love they drive, right? They come off, they get Keon Coleman out of Florida State. I think if he's focused, if he's in the offense, if they give him a role where he can accomplish a lot of things at 6'4" with the speed he got, you got to work on his hands a little bit. You got to make him focus up because them hands is sometimes a little shaky. And then they took the safety I wanted from Utah, Cole Bishop. I think he's probably the second best safety in this draft. And then everybody's favorite 3rd round defensive tackle, Dwayne Carter from Duke. I think he could be an animal too. Like, and they're gonna get some of those pieces back that were hurt last season. I think the only problem, bro, is gonna be the rest of the wide receiver core. Can them boys tap in? Can them boys get around and make some plays? Because like we know Josh Allen is gonna go out there, even with interceptions, fumbles, whatever. He gonna go out there and he gonna make it happen. He gonna go get yards. He gonna go get points. I think they got a good running back. Offensive line is pretty much intact. Two tight ends on their team that both can go get it. The defensive side of the ball, they did lose some pieces, right? They did lose some of their start. Well, I'm not sure, right? You could tell me if I'm wrong, J Mix. Some of those guys that they lost that were starters weren't supposed to be starters, though, right? They were more because of injury, right?
Well, no, I mean some of the guys that were starters, they didn't like play like the corner that went to the Rams.
Trey White.
Yeah.
Trey
White. Like people want to point, oh, well, they lost him, but in the last 2 years, he only played 5 games. Well, he only started 5 games. So I mean, do you really consider them lose? That's really like losing a starter when the dude really hadn't played the last 2 years. Like that's just one example. And they lost a couple other pieces off the defense, but for me, they lost those pieces, but then in the draft and the free agency, like they added more pieces. And as long as Sean McDermott is the coach and he's running that scheme, I think they're going to be all right. I mean, because look at last year, for example, like they lost a lot of players on defense, and at the end of the year, like I mean, they were still a top 10 unit. So it's like even with the injuries that they sustained last year, they still were, stat wise, top 10. So like, and that's not the first year that's happened to them. Like they've been consistently getting hurt on defense, and they always finish as a top 10 unit. So I think it's a lot to have to do with the coach, and the coach is still there. And so there might be a little bit of fall off, but I think the defense is going to be fine. And I think Milano was going to start the season, and so like he's one of the best linebackers in football. So I don't think the defense is going to be as big of a of a concern as people think. That's just my opinion.
I think the Bills, man, are. I don't think like people look. That's what I was going to say though. Like people looked at it like, oh, they lost this, they lost that, they lost this, but it's like a lot of those guys either weren't playing or they weren't playing at a high level. So it's like at that point, like you lost them, yes, but at the same time, like you were ready to replace them anyway. You probably had an offset plan. So I think the Bills at 9 for me, it works, man. I think they've been able to accomplish what they needed to. I don't think they cared to lose Gabe Davis. I think Stephon Diggs was probably the biggest blow. I think Gabe was gone regardless. I don't think they were bringing him back. So I think if they could find some staggering pieces to make that offense work, Stephon Diggs' production down the stretch wasn't that well anyway.
Yeah, but I think what they added with Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel, and I think they still have Shafir on the team as well. I think that wide receiver core is young, but can produce for them. So I don't really have concerns with that. Their running back room is pretty solid to me. And like what J Mix said, I don't really think they lost major pieces on the defensive side of the ball. And Sean McDermott is a hell of a defensive coach. So I'm not really concerned with them. It's really just what production are we going to get from that wide receiver room? And will Keon Coleman be the wide receiver one that Bills fans think he can?
Yeah, they brought in some good pieces. I ain't really realized that. They had a good.
Because the thing is, like when you look at that draft, they actually drafted pretty well. Actually, because like you mentioned, Keon Coleman and like the Cole Bishop moves, but they also and Dwayne Carter in the 3rd round. But they drafted a running back that a lot of people were high on. Ray Davis out of Kentucky. A lot of people were high on. Say what?
Ray Davis. I just looked at it. I was just looking down. I'm like, oh dang, they did get Ray Davis.
So they got him. They got my center out of Georgia, Cedric, who was like the 2nd or 3rd best center in the draft. And low key, Daquan Hardy out of Penn State, the corner. Like I actually think that he has capability of being actually a serviceable corner in the league, and they got him in the 6th. And they also drafted a couple tackles and guards as well. I mean, just to show up the line. I mean, even though I think they had a top 10 unit offensive line last year, anyways. And for me, like, yeah, I mean, like they lost Gabe Davis, but to me, Keon Coleman could kind of fit into the Gabe Davis role. I don't think that's that much. I mean, difference. I mean, like, I mean, obviously Keon's a rookie, so you never really know what you're gonna get out of a rookie. But I can comfortably say like their games are kind of similar, so I can see the exchange for I mean, well, not the exchange, but I mean, go from Gabe to Keon, so I can see that. I mean, yeah, like, uh, and they traded their I mean number one wide receiver to the Texans, which Diggs, which is a big deal. I mean, they're gonna have to find a way to piece up that production. They I mean did sign Scantling, who's like a speed guy, and they like, and they drafted obviously Keon, and like, and they had a couple other wide receivers like Curtis Samuel and a couple other guys. So they got to piece up the production together. And we just got to see what that looks like. But I mean, when you have Josh Allen, I mean, Josh Allen makes plays that you should not be able to make. So that's just something that I mean, like people that don't like the Bills or hate the Bills got to keep in mind. It's like, I mean, when you have things like when you have a guy like Mahomes or you have Lamar or you have Josh Allen, like these are like aliens at that position. So I mean, they can make stuff shake that's not supposed to shake. So
facts. And then also like with the two solid tight ends that they have, you mix that in with the pass catching depth. Like I think they have a really solid squad on offense. It's just I think the AFC is just a tough conference right now.
that's a
Very
fact.
tough.
And I think the Bills' issue is the Jet. Like their main issue in our division is the Jets, because I mean the Jets, their defense was top 5 last year. Like all they were missing was a quarterback who got hurt. And I know that like Rodgers is 40 years old or whatever, 39 or whatever, how old is it coming up that Achilles. But I mean, to me, that's going to be their main competition in that division. And so if they're able to still dominate in that division, or I don't say dominate, but still winning that division, that's the team that's kind of right on their back.
Hey, Ready Red, you gonna chill on that bird, fam? You gonna chill on that bird? You gonna chill the fuck out of them Eagles, dog. you wilding. You definitely wilding. That was the best thing that's been next to your name since you chose Ready Red, my boy. Nah, but yeah, man, it's gonna be fun in that AFC East with the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. I think that's gonna be a hell of a fight. And don't let the Patriots find some type of life. Somehow they could be in the 9-8.
They go start cooking. Like let's see.
Don't let it find some life at the bottom. Listen, that be the worst teams. I hate the team that everybody predicted to be last. Because all they gotta do is go like 9-8. They mess up everybody. I mean, they got a couple wins in the division. They got a couple wins out of the division. They made a fight. Like,
hey, listen,
I can see them being 8-9, 9-8. So when
I mean, I don't think we're gonna win that many games, but I mean, we're definitely going. I mean, like we had some of the worst quarterback play last year, and we still won 4 games. So I mean, the quarterback room is much better this year. The defense is going to be similar, if maybe a little bit worse. So I mean, like we're gonna catch somebody.
Yeah, I don't think people who are matched up against the Patriots should sleep on them, because guess what? They gonna play hard. Them players gonna play hard. So that's not something to sleep on. That's not gonna be an easy win.
Now that Mayo the coach, I think they might play harder. So they might be. I think they was tired of Bill.
I'm not gonna argue with that, man.
He probably was. Hey, look, you get 20 years. Shit, I'll be tired of you too. Goddamn, I'm tired of coming to work with this old ass angry motherfucker, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because that's what I was gonna say. Because like his coaching style is like old school, man. Like it's different. I mean, Mayo he's not an old school coach. Like he might be more of a player's coach, and the players might want to play for him more. I mean, just because of that.
Well, Ready Red, how about this? The next team on the list at number 8 are the the Dallas Cowboys. Damn, my bad. Dallas Cowboys. Hello? Hey, man, listen. All right. So since this, my division. All right. So offensive line, They lost two big pieces, right? One is playing for the Jets, and Tyron Smith. Tyler Biotish is now going to be the center for the Commanders. They lost their DC. They got a lot of pieces. They lost Stephon Gilmore, but I don't know how big of a piece that is. But I think they like Deron Bland at the slot a lot more than they're gonna like him outside. So him having to be outside this year is going to be an up and down situation. Diggs coming off of ACL, it's going to take a few weeks to get back in motion. Zeke for Pollard, I mean Zeke is on the bottom half of the career, man. Him being him and the guys they got in that backfield to play, you know, as a collective. I just don't see it being the greatest punch, but you know, as J Mick just, you know, kind of said, since Dak Prescott pretty much been the starter, he finishes the season, starts to finish the season. They've been pretty much a playoff team. I did give them a hot take that I don't think they're gonna make it though. But CeeDee Lamb, top 5, top 10 if you want to argue. You know what I'm saying? And some people, I know he top 3 in the NFC right now. You know what I mean? Because it's probably him, AJ, and Jettas in the NFC. So I just don't think they could have moved any higher. I think this is one of the teams like we got in the top 10 that personally I could see, you know, kind of needing to be out of the top 10 at the end of the season because you got a lot of people to pay too. You know what I'm saying? I talked about how the Bengals got guys to pay. Well, you got Dak Prescott who won $60 million. You got CeeDee Lamb who won 30 plus. You got Michael who won 30 plus.
Did you just say Dak won 60?
60.
Yeah, but like but I mean the highest quarterback getting paid now was like 53, 54.
Yeah, but he just took a pay cut from 55 when he was already almost at 60.
Man, I wouldn't get that boy 60. I'm sorry. No, I'm just not doing that.
Hey, he might have told Dallas this a fee. This the fee for not paying me on time. I want 60.
And I'll give you like 53, 54, but I'm not giving you 60. Sorry.
But yeah, he won't top quarterback with me. So you're in a bad position, man. You got a lot of negotiating to do, man. Already red. That's how you feeling? Dak won't be a Cowboy next season? Let me put this in the pad.
What is Trey Lance?
But a lot of Cowboys actually feel that way though, fans. I've heard talk. That's not the first time I heard that though.
Not me neither. But nah, they thinking they want that boy out of Colorado. Pop.
What a Shador?
Yeah.
Shador?
How are you gonna
look, and he said it right after I said it. Look.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense though. Like they're not gonna drop high enough to get. He's gonna be like a top 10.
Yeah, I'm like,
man, they might trade.
He'll probably be in like the top 10, maybe top 13 pick.
The Cowboys ain't gonna be that bad to trade that, man. They might sign and trade that.
Yeah, but whoever you trade him to, they gotta pay him. If I gotta pay somebody, I'm not gonna give you that much draft as much as you think you're gonna get if I gotta pay the guy.
Shout out to Stu, man. Another person, you know what I'm saying? 3 more people to go, man. Jules got awarded one of the 5 free memberships to the.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
That's solid.
Yeah, man. So how y'all think the Cowboys gonna do? Yeah, the Cowboys at 8. Cool, Cat. The Cowboys at 8.
For me, is to see what that defense looks like under Mike Zimmer. I know the history of Mike Zimmer. I think he's a solid defensive coordinator, but he hasn't been coaching for 2 years now. So I need to see what that looks like. I need to see who comes out as the wide receiver 3 or 4 for the Cowboys. I'm not that big on the Zeke signing. Like, I understand that's a player that y'all have, but I just don't like it. I don't like the depth that they have at that position. I think they have Deuce Vaughn, who they drafted last year, and I'm not sure who their third running back is in that room. But that
yeah, I just don't remember the dude's
Deuce
name.
Vaughn is third.
Yeah. I mean, Deuce Vaughn's the third running back, and the second running back, he was there. He was back in Apollo last year. I just cannot remember.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. I think Dottle.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
Donald,
Yeah,
yeah.
Rico.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rico.
so yeah, it's cool, but I'm just not big on it. I have to see what it looks like. But right now, I'm just not big on it. And they have a solid tight end room. And Dak, he's just proven that he can uplift players around him. So I'm not that concerned. For real, for the Cowboys, is will they will they be able to put it all together? And I could see the Cowboys potentially being either first or second within the division. So I think they could definitely make the playoffs this year. But
You said you
it's
can see
really
them
just
what?
up.
Hello?
Hey, I could see the Cowboys
Hello?
making the playoffs
I
as a
mean,
wild card
The
team.
first part you said. Go. I skipped the playoffs.
they
Go
did win.
back. Rewind.
I mean, they
What?
did
That
win
they
the
could
division
be
last
first or
year.
second in the division?
You said second or third? Because they ain't getting first. Nah. We
I mean, they got
gifted them.
first
We gave
last
it to
Hey,
year.
them
nah,
last
but
year.
here's the
They
thing
got first last year.
with the
We
NFC
don't have
East,
repeats. We gonna get
y'all rarely
repeaters.
have repeat division
Ain't
winners. That's
barely.
what's
We
so
the
weird
last
about
ones to
y'all
do it, and
division.
that was 20 years ago.
I mean, but
Yeah,
to
y'all
me,
rarely have repeats. And who won the division last year, Smitty?
They did.
and in my
So
opinion, there's only two teams that's going to win that division. It's either going to be the Eagles
And
or
it's
the Cowboys.
us. It's us.
exactly. So
It's
it's
We
the
not
winning
Cowboys.
the
bad to say
division.
that they could potentially be one or
Man,
two.
they had their chance last year. They can fight for the wild card, man. They fighting for the wild card. That's my division this year. We can talk about them winning next year.
We
We don't
gonna
get
see. We gonna
repeats.
see, Smitty. We gonna see. But I'm
We
just
don't get
saying, like, I
repeats.
don't.
We don't. I listen. I told people last year, like, I don't think we win in the division. They're like, why? We don't repeat. I don't know what kind of curses on the NFC East. That ain't happening for a long time, man. It's been 20 years.
This could be
20.
the year, though.
It won't be them. Won't be them.
So I mean, like when I look
Won't
at the
happen.
Cowboys, so I'll just chime in on this Cowboys thing real quick, like the moves that they made. I can't speak on free agency because they ain't really making no moves in free agency. Can't really speak on that. The draft, I actually did like their draft though, man. Like, they got Guyton, who to me is he's gonna need to develop, but I mean he's a good piece at tackle. Marshawn Nealon, edge out of Western Michigan, I actually really liked him a lot. He has a capability to be like a good depth piece for them. Cooper Beebe was my favorite guard in the draft. I think Cooper Beebe has the potential to be really, really good. The linebacker out of Notre Dame, I don't love the kid, but I think he can actually be like a good depth piece. They actually got Kalen Carson out of Wake Forest corner. I think he could be like another good like depth piece. I don't think he's going to be this great talent at cornerback, but he's like I said, like he's a good depth piece. And they drafted 3 other guys. I'm not really gonna like name and whatever. The one thing I will say about them getting Zeke back, Zeke was on my team last year. I've seen Zeke a lot. Zeke actually has a lot left in the tank. My only thing is he should not be your starter though. That's the thing. Like you should be, it should be a shared backfield. So I don't know how they're gonna do it with him and Rico, because to me, him and Rico the same. They're the same kind of running back to me. Like so it's not much different. So maybe they signed a running back after the draft as a undrafted free agent. I don't know, because I really checked out their list. But yeah, it's pretty much all on Dak. Dak in a contract year. In the contract year for some players, it either is, like they either have a really great year or they have a shitty year. It just depends. Like it's just like how you deal with pressure. And I've seen it from like a number of dudes at like different positions other than quarterback. They're in that contract year and they feel the pressure and they play really well, or they just don't play well. So you got to see how that turns out. Their defense, I'm not as concerned about their defense. I think their defense, like they have the talent and they have the pieces. As long as Zimmer can work with it, they'll be all right. Now, their offensive line, like Smitty said earlier, they lost a lot off that line. So I don't. Like some of the guys they drafted, I really like. But at the end of the day, they're rookies, and you're gonna have growing pains. And like they literally lost one of the best left tackles in football. So, and I just don't think you can plug in Guyton, like and expect to have the same production that like Tyron Smith was giving you. I don't think you can expect that in the first year. So so you couple the O line not being as good, and their running back position is not as deep as it normally is. They have questions that they're gonna have to answer. We just have to see how that turns out. But like I said earlier, to me, this division is a 2-team race. It's the Cowboys and the Eagles. It is what it is.
Facts.
Like Giants, like the Giants could be much better than they were last year. It just depends. Like it just depends if Daniel Jones could stay healthy and like their defense, like they have one of the best D lines in football. If that is like if that leads their team to wins, cool. But I don't see the Giants winning more than 9 games. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see them winning more than 9 games. I'm just be honest. And the Redskins, not the Redskins, the Commanders. I mean, like they did a lot in free agency in the draft, but my thing is you got a rookie quarterback and you don't have any tackles. That's just to me that just like screams alert like alarm because I mean like and I people that watch the pod know that I love Jayden Daniels. I wanted Jayden Daniels to be a Patriot. But what scares me is they don't, like I said, they don't have any tackles. Like the line needs to kind of mesh together, and I just don't know how that's going to work. And I just hope that the tackles can somewhat protect Jayden because Jayden is also not the biggest guy in the world either. So and that's why I say like that explanation is why I say it's either the Eagles or the Cowboys. One of them two teams is going to win the East, and right now I would shade towards the Eagles because all their draft when they did free agency.
Ready, Red. Let's not do this, okay? Let's not really go through Dak Prescott and who he played when he played against the Eagles. Let's not do that. Let's just say this. Let's just say he 4-3 against Carson Wentz, and then let's really go through let's really go through the rest of the games he played. Right? Three of those games we was locked into the playoffs as the top in the division. So we played no starters. So he played 1 game against Gardner Minshew. No, 2 games against Gardner Minshew. He played the year before that. He played a game against Ian Book. Hey, Pop, you know who Ian Book is?
I don't need to talk about it.
But no. You know who he is, right? So would you count that as a big dub? Would you say somebody beating Ian Book owns your team?
Not to a guy I saw throw a pick 6 in his first throw of his career against the Dolphins. No.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Who was I'm trying to remember the matter of fact, we ain't gonna even go through numbers. Let's just say that's that. Who did you beat? Oh, dang. You beat a bunch of backups. Oh, congratulations. Stop it. Ready? This man beat Ian Book and Gardner Minshew in half of his wins against the Eagles, bro. Stop it. Please. Outside of him beating Carson Wentz, which they was splitting games every year. As you can see, 4-3. The only reason it ain't 4-4 because when Carson Wentz blew his ACL out. And he didn't play them in the last game of the season that year. But he won the first game that year. So it's possible he would have swept y'all. I digress. Y'all want to make Dak Prescott all that good. What's his record in the play? What's his record in the? What was Tony Romo's record in the playoff? Ain't they identical? They twins. Oh no, he 2-5. Because the Packers. You was the top seed. They came to your crib, and then they escorted you out. They had security escort you out so they could keep celebrating in your house.
Man, walked in your trap and took over.
Well, their last Super Bowl was in 1996, right? How many NFC championships they seen since 90? Oh.
Have they made it to the NFC championship game?
No. And guess what? They ain't won a divisional game since. Oh. Dak Prescott beating me 9-4 ain't did nothing. I got a Super Bowl and three Super Bowl appearances. Thank you, Ready Red.
But you won in 3. You're 1-3.
Hey, I'm 1-3, but it's 13 teams ain't got one. So I'm in a good spot. Hey, I've had that. Listen, if Big Dummy wasn't drunk, you know what I mean, we would have had an opportunity to at least see what the game would look like. Even though Jay Mick said we wasn't winning. Jay Mick said we wasn't winning.
I was not winning that.
My cousin told me we wasn't winning. But I think it would have been a better game. I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line is, y'all weren't beating us, bro.
Man, we would have beat y'all.
Weren't. Y'all weren't. It just wasn't gonna happen. It's cool.
We should be like the Giants right now against y'all, bro.
No,
we should be 2-0, bro. We should be 2-0. We should be 2-0. That big goofy,
literally,
goofy Uncle Tom.
And then you literally could be 0-4. I mean,
y'all wasn't winning 2017. Y'all wasn't winning.
Y'all won because Bill Belichick decided not to play our best corner on the team. That's a big part of why y'all won that game. But I'm not gonna get into that. So
Philly won us that game, man. You know what it was.
No, I mean, us not having our best cornerback in the game actually helped y'all win that. I'm not gonna say it was 100%, but that's definitely a contributing factor. But I'm not gonna get into that. Y'all won the game, so I mean, like it's I'm not.
You should have won at 04, just like you won in 17, man.
What happened in 04 was Terrell Owens was held enough to play. He balled out, and you still lost.
But we had a drunk man with an attitude, and if you go back and look at that play, that shouldn't have been that ball he threw the interception shouldn't even went that way. It should have went to T.O. again.
So you really think because Donovan McNabb was drunk, like Donovan McNabb had a history of not playing?
No. Listen, have you ever heard T.O. talk about that play? He said he told Donovan before they broke the huddle, pass it to me. And Donovan literally turned his back. As soon as he hiked it, he did like this to T.O. Like, I'm not throwing you nothing. They was already beefing. He didn't want that man to get the Super Bowl MVP. T.O. would have scored that play, bro.
Y'all not winning that game, man. You just bro.
Hey, I'm just saying, listen, if it wasn't no beef and we was all family, and you know what I'm saying, we didn't have a drunk man playing quarterback, I'm just saying the outcome could have been closer.
I mean, but you act like Donovan didn't play in 4 straight conference championship games. Some of them threw
he was a big choke. He was a big choke. Call that boy. I don't like him. I don't really fuck with Donovan.
So what you're trying to tell me is a guy that's used to choking wasn't going to choke again? No, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm sorry.
Man, he wasn't going to choke. That was the year. That was the year, man. We had it. We fucked it up though. We blowed it.
And you're 1-1, so yeah.
I'm gonna get another one too, real soon.
I mean, you had your chance against the Chiefs, man.
I'm gonna get them back. Don't talk about it. I'm gonna get them back just like I got you back. Okay.
But your quarterback fumbled the ball and gave them 3 seconds.
Man, listen, the fumble didn't cause us to lose that game.
That's true. Your cornerback couldn't help.
I mean, it definitely didn't help.
That boy said,
yeah, but I'm just saying there was
it didn't help. It didn't help, but it did. I mean, Jalen Hurts did everything he could after that fumble.
But that's the thing, like, before that fumble, y'all was controlling the whole gameplay. And I mean, once that fumble happened, it changed the whole, portion of the game.
Yeah, but we got the momentum back after that. And we still was in control going into halftime. We still was up 10, even with them getting that.
Yeah, it wasn't just the fumble; it's the fumble, and they picked it up and they ran it back and scored with it.
And then we came out, we scored, we went right, we stopped, then we went down the field. The problem was the defense in the second half was on toilet water. Let's just be honest. The fumble, yes, it hurt, but the fumble didn't ultimately end the game. Him going 14 for 14 in the second half for 3 touchdowns is what cost us the game.
But let me ask you a question: how many points you lose by?
3.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a turnover that they picked up a fumble running back for what? 7 or 6?
They got 6.
And then the extra
that doesn't
point.
happen. I mean, like I said,
if Bradbury don't hold on 3rd down, we it's a minute and 35 seconds left, and we got 2 timeouts.
Yeah, but if Jalen don't fumble that ball, like y'all going to the half.
Man, you can say what you want, but we went up 10. We still went in the half up 10. We didn't score in the 7.
I mean, you could have been up more though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
we could have not scored on that drive. They still scored. It would have been the same difference, right? If that was a 3rd down play where we fumbled, right? If we don't, we punt it. They come back down the field. They got the opportunity to score anyway. We wasn't getting the 1st down. Jalen was already stopped.
But so here's the thing, right? Teams like the Chiefs, you cannot like the Chiefs. Like I put the Chiefs in the same kind of when I'm talking like this, like the Chiefs, Patriots. I mean, teams like that, you cannot let them score on defense like that. That's just something that those teams are so good offensively that if you let them score on defense, like the outcome is not going to be what you want, and that's kind of what happened. So I mean, like you can't give Mahomes points. Like he's hard enough to stop to begin with. So, but
I ultimately think it was a lot of things that played a part of that. How about 0 sacks on a 70 sack team?
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I mean, like the defense
we didn't test it, man. We didn't apply no pressure.
But
how about one stop in the second half is our game? They had 0 stop, bro. They didn't punt the ball one time, and they had one field goal, which was the game-winning field goal. You didn't get one stop in the not one. You couldn't stop, and he was on a bum leg.
Yeah, but I mean, you understand what Andy Reid, like Andy Reid coaches offense a lot like Bill Belichick coaches defense. Like he'll give you certain looks in the first half, and then like in the second half, he'll start pulling shit out the bag, that shit that he know gonna work against you. That's what he that I mean, like I'm not calling Andy Reid Bill Belichick, but they both do similar things on like their sides of the ball. And that's, I mean, Andy, like I mean you seen it last year in the Super Bowl with the 49ers, did the same thing. He killed y'all. He killed the Eagles with the same play that he killed the 49ers, and he waited till like what the last play of the game to use the play. I mean, that's just what Andy does.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I'm just saying, 14 for 14, 3 touchdowns, and a field goal. I don't think that helped us. The fumble didn't help, right? But not stopping him on defense when he came back in the second half didn't help either.
But I mean, like that's why Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league.
I think they came out the second half and they went down in 4 plays and scored a touchdown. Like,
I mean, he's the best quarterback in the league for a reason, though, man.
That's what I'm saying. And y'all did have an opportunity to go up in the game, and y'all just didn't take advantage of it.
What you mean? We was already up, and we went back up. I mean, we went up again.
Yeah, but you also gave them 6 points. I mean, you I mean, Jalen fumbled. They picked up and ran it. You literally gave him 6 points. Like that's
yeah.
what
I'm just
like y'all could have been up even more than you were up.
Yeah, all I'm saying is y'all could have had that, but you can't deny that fumble really, really set y'all back.
And I mean, like, so, and
50,
you know,
50 on it.
I mean, for me, I'm a neutral. You know, I was watching that game from a neutral perspective. Because I'm gonna be real, and you know, I don't like the Chiefs, and I'm not too fond of the Eagles either. So I'm just be real about it. Like, I was watching it, and when the fumble happened, I'm like, well, this is gonna change the whole momentum of the game, and that's exactly what it did.
And I was like,
but it didn't though. That's what it didn't do. That's what I thought it was gonna do. But we came back out and scored. Then they got the ball back. Stop. We went back, field goal. Like they didn't, and they got the ball back, 3 and out. And then we closed out the second half on a drive. I'm thinking, okay, we come out second half. We going
you gave them points that they should have never had. That's the point. It's just like it. You know, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, you could, you know, like later drives, like the next drive. I mean, but the one point I'm trying to make is, I mean, like watching football, like if your defense scores and you're struggling in the game, it's going to give the rest of the team confidence. That's what it does. They
still struggled though, Jamie. That's what I'm saying. They still didn't. They didn't get another drive after that fumble. They still didn't get points. They closed out the game with this. That was their last score of the game.
Fumble, that fumble resulted in points for them. Like if Jalen would have just fumbled the ball and nothing would have happened, I don't think it would have been an issue. But you gave them a free 6 points.
And it wasn't like the dude had to navigate through people to score the touch. He literally picked up the ball and there wasn't nobody there. He just ran straight.
Yeah, just ran it in.
I mean, like that was one of the easiest. I mean, like scoop of scores you're ever going to see. And he didn't even force the fumble. Like Jalen kind of fumbled on his own. Not like he got stripped. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like you may point to later drives that like the next drive they didn't score, but that even leads more to the point that y'all would have been up by 7 more points if he don't fumble and they don't run it back at the half. You'd have been up more. And then with that, like, so what that does in return, when you start the second half, you know, I mean, like the Eagles could be like, oh, so we're up. Y'all were up 10, like y'all have been up, 16, 17 points. So I mean, like y'all could have been like, oh, like we're just gonna run the ball even more. Because I mean we're up by 3.
We couldn't do that for shit. We couldn't run the ball for nothing in the world. We tried running the ball. That shit was null and void. We was done with running the ball. I don't care if we was up 17, 20. I don't think running the ball was going to be the answer at all.
Yeah, but I mean, running the ball when you're up 17 in the second half of a Super Bowl is like you're not necessarily trying to break one for 80 yards. Like you're trying to, salt the clock out because y'all. I mean, like when you're up that big.
Why nobody don't talk about Miles Sanders' fumble that they recovered? Shit, they gave him 7.
Yeah, but the thing about that was
nobody want to talk about that though. Nobody want to talk about Miles Sanders taking us out the game too.
Yeah, but it wasn't a scoop and score though. That's why nobody.
They scored the next play. They scored the first play. They threw a touchdown.
Yeah, but it wasn't. They didn't score on defense. Is the point though? That Jalen Hurts fumble, they scooped and scored. There wasn't no next play because they scored on the same play. Okay, like that's a big deal.
To me, yeah, the Jalen Hurts fumble, like I said, it didn't help, but it didn't take us out the game. It didn't change the momentum for me. I think the Miles Sanders fumble was more crucial because they was already not getting stopped. I think at the time they had already scored 2 touchdowns. They down like 3 at this point. Okay, you fumbled. They go down and score. They took the lead. That's when Jalen had to come up and tie it to go 35-35.
Yeah.
That
help, but I'm just saying, like, it's different when a team gets a turnover and then their offense scores a point as opposed to their defense scoring this point. And I think that's just the point that we're just trying to make.
No, it's easier to place blame on the quarterback than anybody else because they make the most money.
Blame when they have a turnover that go for a touchdown when the offense don't got to, they don't have to do nothing to score the touchdown. And I mean, I don't go just for Jet. I go for any quarterback.
They didn't do anything after that fumble, though, bro. Like, yes, they got 7, but we did not get a momentum off of that fumble. We still went out and punched them in the face again. Our defense was at the time playing well. Like, if you come out in the third, let's just say we come out in the third and get a stop. We was on fire on offense. We still had the same momentum. No, you didn't stop them. You gave them 3 straight touchdowns.
I mean, I just disagree. I think that fumble changed the game. Like I said, it gave them points that they shouldn't have had. That's just how I feel.
I also think, like to Smitty's point, that defense did not adjust. Like they didn't.
There's no blame on them. It's like, it's all Jalen fault. But like the defense let them go 14 for 4. I don't get that, bro. How you blame one person when they didn't stop shit, and then you get a penalty when the game is on the line?
But I mean, no one ever said that. No one ever blamed the defense. No one ever said that. That's not. I never said that.
Saying they changed the momentum. If the momentum was changed, why Patrick Mahomes didn't score another touchdown? Why they didn't score another touchdown the next quarter and a half?
But it does change the momentum of the game. But that don't mean that I don't blame the defense for the last drive that the Chiefs had and them getting.
If the momentum was changed, why did they not score another point?
This is the one thing I'd be telling people. Like, just because I point out one play that Jalen Hurts made, don't mean that I'm putting 100% of the blame on him. I mean, in that game, there's plenty of blame to go around to the whole team. I'm just pointing out one play that changed the momentum of the game. Like, and I just feel like whenever your offense gives the defense points, it has the capability of changing the momentum of the game. Because I mean, what you're doing is like you're giving a team that's struggling points that they should have never had in the first place, and that most of the time that's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And I mean, it kind of did because they only won by 3. So yeah, I mean, it's Jalen Hurts' fault for fumbling the ball and then picking up and scoring. But in return, I can also blame the defense. In the second half, like you said, didn't get any sacks, and that last drive, that last holding call, like that's something that you can't have. Because the thing is, if you don't hold and they don't complete that pass, they kick the field goal and you get the ball back, you get a chance to win the game. But the defense didn't allow you to do that. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm not placing 100% of the blame on Jalen Hurts. I'm just giving him a portion of the blame. That's all, a portion.
Yeah.
Like I don't hear nobody talk about a Christian McCaffrey fumbling in the Super Bowl, but it's Jalen though. Jalen fumbling in the Super Bowl. All eyes.
We're not talking about the 49ers though.
But I'm saying when we bring up the 49ers losing, it's never like, Christian McCaffrey. I ain't heard that yet. I heard it for a whole 2 years about Jalen though.
Because Christian McCaffrey's fumble didn't result in a direct touchdown. That's why.
They did not kill their drive in the red zone and lead to them losing the Super Bowl.
I mean, but I can say
that actually directly led to them losing the Super Bowl. That changed the momentum for real. Because they had the game in hand. If they score right there, they're up. What?
What do you mean they had the game in hand?
The same amount as us.
The game also didn't help the 49ers as well. So
when they went up 17 at that point, if they scored, were they already up 10?
No, that's
when
not
they was up right then.
No, that was the first drive of the game. The score was 0-0.
No, when Christian fumbled, that was the first drive.
What's the first drive of the game? Yeah.
Yeah, they just would
No.
have went up 7 points.
or maybe 3 or 7.
To me, one of the crucial things that happened with that 49ers game is literally that block field goal. Because if they get those 3 points, that's the 49ers game.
Yeah, but then you got to look at it like at the end of the game when the Chiefs tied a game. If they needed more than a field goal, then they would have just they would have went for it though. That's the thing. I tell you, like so. Yeah, I mean blocking the field goal was important, but I mean if the Chiefs were down 4 points instead of 3, then they probably would have went for it, and they probably would have pulled off the same play that they won the game on. To be honest about it, to
That's
me,
fair.
I mean to me like where that game really changed was when the 49ers linebacker was jumping up and down on the field and he tore his Achilles. Because up until that point, yeah, I mean the Chiefs weren't really running the ball that great until that point. So I mean, if I'm gonna point to anything that changed that game, I would probably say that because I mean McCaffrey fumbled, but I mean so did Pacheco. Like he fumbled too, and I think he fumbled in the red zone. I think both of them dudes fumbled in the red zone, so it kind of equaled itself out. So, but I mean, and we can get back to the power rankings though, man, because I think we went on a crazy tangent, man.
I just like it fair, dog. If we're gonna point out everybody messes, I mean, it just shouldn't be Jalen. It shouldn't just be Jalen. It shouldn't be like, oh, Jalen changed the game. Like, yeah, he fumbled, but he answered all the questions after that.
Yeah, I feel you. It's just that we were talking about the Eagles, so I think it makes sense. We're talking about the Eagles and their woes in the Super Bowl, so I think it makes sense that we have to bring up like the things that happened in the Eagles Super Bowl.
Y'all didn't bring up the things that happened. Y'all brought up one thing that happened. I had to bring up the rest to defend my team. I brought up the defense. I brought up no sacks. I brought up him going perfect. I brought up 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal, no stops. I brought up that we had to answer every call in the second half.
Yes,
I did that. It was only Jalen for y'all because it's easy to point out Jalen.
No, I mean,
we said Jalen and we said Bradbury. We said those were 2 key plays.
I brought up Bradbury. I said him holding killed us. If he don't hold, that's 4th down. They're kicking a long field goal. They got to kick almost a 60-yard field goal at that point. Miss or make, we get a minute and 35 seconds and 2 timeouts.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't think it's fair for you to say, oh, we need to talk about all the things that happened against the Chiefs with these other teams when we're talking about the Eagles. But we can move on to the next team.
I'm saying I'm keeping it consistent because y'all don't bring up that when y'all be like, oh, the 49ers had a great game. They played all the way down to the but we don't get that. The Eagles don't get we played a great game. Jalen Hurts fumbled, game was over. If I was a non-football fan, I didn't watch the game, I would think this
nobody
man
ever said that though. That's the thing. Like when I said
you basically told me him fumbling changed the game.
Yeah. I said it changed the momentum of the game, which it did. It changed the momentum.
So if me never watching the game, I would have thought him fumbling and then the Eagles didn't do anything afterward.
Me saying change the momentum of the game does not say it lost them to get like that's not the same thing. It's not even close.
Momentum says it gave the other team momentum, right? So that would mean they got on fire
it
after that.
Mean
fumble,
that
right?
you lost the game based on that one play. That's not what changed the momentum of the game. Change the momentum of turnovers have the impact of doing that in any game that you watch. It could change the momentum of the game. It doesn't mean that you lose the game. But
the momentum swinging says the other team got hot, right? That means the game swung into the other team's.
It changes the momentum of the game, but it does not mean that just because you change the momentum of the game, it doesn't mean that the team that you're talking about is going to lose or win. I mean, one singular play could change the momentum of the game, but I mean, yeah, and still, I mean, the team that made the turnover could still pull out the game. Like that's happened in many games. So just
the momentum will constantly.
It doesn't mean it's lost. That's not what I said.
But I disagree that it changed the momentum. I didn't think it did. I don't think it did. They didn't do anything to answer afterwards. They weren't able to cultivate any drives.
I mean,
they didn't even make it. We fumbled, and they didn't even make it to the red zone after that fumble.
I mean, the reality of it is, like, the way of my point of view of a neutral viewer of the game, it changed the momentum because it gave them points they should have never had. That's just the way I view it.
I think it gave them points, but I don't think it changed the momentum. I think that defense in the second half is what really changed the momentum for me.
I mean, it didn't help.
But at 7, we got the LA Rams.
And I can say that, but I can also say like in the second half, I mean, it didn't help that your offense didn't score touchdowns when they had a chance to, and they were just kicking field goals. I can say that too.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
that was.
that's good.
I mean, Sirianni just. I mean, he tucked his legs. I mean, I really can't say nothing about that. But we only it was only one field goal that we took that we shouldn't have took.
I mean, you only lost by 3 points. That could have been a difference in the game.
Yeah, we shouldn't
And
have took that field goal. But I mean,
and
what we went
it,
up. I think we went up 6 with that field goal, right?
yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
game would have been different.
1 of 6.
But yeah, and we can get back to the power rankings though.
Then they scored 2-point conversion, and we scored 35-35. Yeah. I mean, the three didn't help. I definitely thought we should have probably tush pushed it though, to be honest. 4th and 2. But Nick Sirianni, never mind. He at 7, we got the LA Rams, man. LA Rams. Even without Aaron Donald, they was able to, get in the top 10, man. I think I think it says a lot about the culture they've built over the few years with Sean McVay bringing in, 2 pieces to try to solidify that defensive line still with Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk. They brought in Puka Nacua last year, still outstanding receiver. They still got Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford. They got a decent running game. They brought in Trey Benson, right? They got Trey Benson too as they backup, or did they get Blake Corum?
No, I think they got Corum, didn't they?
They got one of them. One of them. Oh, yeah, Trey Benson went.
Yeah, I
Trey
think
Benson went to the Cardinals.
Cardinals, yeah.
Yeah, because they got 2 other Seminoles on that team. So
they got they got Blake Corum. So I think this team, like Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Matthew Stafford stay healthy. I think this team is always a threat to be somewhere in the playoffs hunting for a game. Even when you counted them out last year and said they was a 7-win team, they still was able to push through the playoffs with basically, I mean, to me being shorthanded. So I think the Rams at 7 is a good spot, man. I think they have a lot of pieces on both sides of the ball, man. So what's good, DV?
yeah, I mean, I could say so. When looking at their free agency, I guess you could say they like they solidified their quarterback room. They got Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup. They re-signed a bunch of their own players. They did get Jonah Jackson from, I think he was with the Lions. I think he was playing guard there. Yeah, but I mean, most of free agency, they really re-sign their own guys, which is never a bad thing to do. I mean, especially if you feel like those guys are like, high quality guys. Pretty much the talk of the first 2 days of the draft was how they got Verse and Fisk. They lost Aaron Donald, but they tried to add other pieces to that D line to kind of. I mean, it's not going to be what it was because obviously, like Aaron Donald is one of the most, I mean, like he's probably one of the greatest defensive linemen in the history of the NFL. So you really can't, really can't replace that. But you got to add players to kind of make your D line solid again. So they try to do that with those 2 guys. They drafted Blake Corum, who a lot of people felt like was the best running back in the draft. They drafted Kitchens out of Miami to safety, and a lot of people are high on him. I'm not really too much of a Kitchens guy, but as long as he's using the scheme the right way, I think he can be successful. Trying to look at their draft, and then they also drafted Jordan Whittington from Texas. He's like the 3rd wide receiver, like he was like the slot guy there. So I mean, the Rams actually have a lot of good luck drafting wide receivers like later in the draft, like day 3 picks. So you got to kind of see how that turns out. And I mean the Rams. I mean, like when you look at all the position groups, like look at the offense, the defense, and the coach. I mean, their coaches won a Super Bowl. He's coached in 2 Super Bowls, so you got that. I mean, like the offense with Stafford, as long as Stafford stays healthy, man, like their offense can be really good. I mean, like they got Cooper Kupp coming back. They got and Puka Nacua come back for his 2nd year. Like he had a great year in his rookie year. And then they got Williams at the running back who had a really good year. I mean, to me, the only weak spot on the offense is maybe the line and the tight ends. So I mean, I think they added like an offensive lineman or 2 in free agency. So got to see how that works out. And just see if they can replace Aaron Donald. And I mean, if they can do all that, I don't see why they can't make the playoffs again.
Yeah, I agree. Brandon Fisk and Jared Verse are, I think, key pieces to look at for the Rams of this upcoming season. To J-Make's point about them not really addressing the tight end position, I think that is one of the weak points of the offense, and maybe they get somebody out of the undrafted free agent class. I don't know. Um, the back half of their defense in the secondary is good, but I just need to see what it looks like. I'm not that big of a Trey White um, person. I think he could be a solid corner, but I haven't really seen him be healthy for the last couple seasons. So I don't know what he's really going to bring them for that defensive side of the ball. But overall, I think they're a solid team. That offense is going to be cooking. I think Puka Nakua was a great bright spot for them last year. And for him to even get at least half of the production that he had last year, I think that would be great. I don't know who their wide receiver 3 is right now, but I'm not really
It's the
concerned.
dude from it's the wide receiver from Alabama, Burton, Jermaine Burton.
Jermaine,
I don't think they
Yeah,
drafted.
I thought Burton went to the
no,
Bengals.
he went to the Bengals. Damn it, damn it.
Their third wide receiver is Demarcus Robinson right now.
Robinson, that's who it is.
Uh,
Robinson. I got it wrong.
Yes,
Wrong
he
person.
was on the team last year. So
okay,
I thought
yeah,
they
I'm
drafted somebody. Did they ain't draft nobody as wide receiver?
Jordan Whittington. He was the third wide receiver from Texas.
Oh, they did take Whittington.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
he
not
was
really too
first.
concerned with the offensive side of the ball though for the Rams because McVay's shown that he can cook things up and scheme his players in the positions that they need to be in. It's really just what will this Rams defense look like after Aaron Donald has left, and I think the performance of that D line and that linebacker group will really push this team forward. And seeing what that looks like in this new era of Rams defense football.
Yeah, like they got a lot of questions on defense, and their defense could be good. Like they have like a lot of young guys. So if they're able to mesh that together and make it work, then they're. Pretty much what everybody said. Like they should have a really good team.
Yeah, now also it's just their defensive coordinator is somebody that they hired in house, and just want to see what his play calling looks like, how he's able to scheme up this defense as well, because no one really knows who he is. So that's a question mark for that side of the ball as well.
Now, I don't know why I be messing people up, but I thought for sure. I remember them having Demarcus Robinson. I don't know why I thought they had. That would have been a nice pickup for them though. Burton.
Yeah, but Burton got drafted in the third, and I don't think they were. I just don't think they were going to take him in the third.
Probably not. They probably because they got a receiver last year that showed up super talented.
Like they got two really good wide. As long as Cooper Kupp is not losing a step, they're like wide receiver room would be just fine.
Whittington pretty fast though. He not a slouch. He might can make some pop.
I
don't know about.
I think he's more of a slot guy though. Like I don't think.
Yeah. I think he'll look. He only 6'1", 200.
So, but wide receiver is like the least of their worries on that team. So,
I think their biggest issue is going to be replacing the Hall of Famer that look.
Yeah, I was saying that earlier. Like, you're not going to replace Aaron Donald. That's just not going to happen. It's just not the way that it works.
You can't find it in one person. You might can find it in. You're gonna have to find that in multiple people.
Yeah,
there's gonna be 3-4 people trying to do his job.
To do is just find players that's going to give them that explosiveness off the line on the defense, and maybe that'll be Verse and Fist. I don't know, but you can't replace a generational talent like AD.
Nah, so yeah, it's just not going to happen.
No. Like, if you do, then you're the luckiest team in history, I guess.
Yeah, but that's something that rarely happens.
Somehow
you lucky to draft Aaron Donald because no one thought Aaron Donald was going to be like this when he got to the league because he was coming out of Pittsburgh. Like it's not like he was a top 5 pick in the draft. Like he wasn't even. I don't even think Aaron Donald was a first round pick if I can remember. I thought he went later. He went like second or third.
I think he was because I think Rams had 2 first round picks that year. I could be wrong.
Yeah, for some reason I don't remember him being a first round pick. I don't know. Maybe I misremember it, but I could definitely look it up.
Yeah, I'm about to check.
First round, 13th pick.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did they draft I thought they drafted a tackle or guard that year too. Am I wrong?
I wasn't looking at the whole draft. I just pulled the Rams.
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad. Nah,
yeah,
it's okay.
yeah. I mean, you're actually right because like when they drafted him, they were still in St. Louis, and they drafted Greg
Yeah, they
Robinson.
took Greg Robinson. I was just gonna say that. Greg
Yeah, because
Robinson.
I remember that draft. They took an offensive lineman, then they took Aaron Donald, both in the first round. I remember
Yeah,
that.
so apparently that pick came from the Redskins actually when they were still the Redskins.
Okay.
So I mean
Yeah,
somehow somehow they got the second overall pick from the Redskins somehow.
What the Redskins traded for?
Doesn't really say.
Wonder what they traded for that year.
I mean, I'd have to look more into that how they got that pick.
yeah, but I remember that draft that they thought that the guard that they took that was gonna be like a stout player for him, and they like Aaron Donald. It was a solid pick for him, but people didn't think he was gonna be the generational talent he turned out to be. Um,
Yeah, I
and
think it's
that guard turned out to be a bust, and Aaron Donald turned out to be this Hall of Famer that we've seen explode in the league. So
Greg Robinson's still in the league too, ain't he?
nah, that's a different Greg Robinson.
no,
That's a different one.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, like the Greg Robinson.
He just happened. They just happened to both. They both came from the Rams though, right?
hmm?
The other Greg didn't he start with the Rams? No. The other Greg played for the Bears.
No, I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't think this is the same Greg Robinson that you're talking about.
Yeah, because I think he washed out in like maybe 3-4 years.
No, I mean he actually. I'm looking at him right now. He actually played till 2019. Like he played 5 years in the league. He played for the Rams for 2 years, and then he played for the Lions for one, and then he played for the Browns from 18 to 19, and that was it for him.
The Browns. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, to be a second overall pick in the draft and only play for what 5 years,
4 years. Yeah.
that's not really what I would call successful.
Yeah, and to get released by the team that drafted you after two, that says something.
That's not a good thing.
But no, I think
Hey,
the Rams
nah.
are gonna be
I
solid.
thought he. You know what? I'm thinking of. I just looked it up. I was thinking of the coach, not the player. You know the white old guy, Greg Robinson. Used to coach for the Broncos. Y'all know who I'm talking about? He was the head coach for the Broncos. He used to coach at Michigan. He an older cat.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, like, name doesn't really ring a bell for me. I mean, and I was thinking more like Greg Williams, who was the Saints DC, but yeah.
He was like the DC. He was like Greg Robinson was like DC at Texas. Some years back. I can't remember how long ago. I told you, bro, my man. That's why I told Pop. That's why I tell you I can't do verses, but I be 10. You say a name, I think of 10 different people. I'm like, Greg Robinson, that name sound familiar. Ain't he still playing? Nah, he's not playing.
Hey, bro, nah, I get it. I get it. Like sometimes I don't remember names. I don't remember titles and stuff. Like, give me a description, I could tell you though. No.
All right,
But no,
so
I think this division is gonna be nice. The NFC West. I think it's really solid. They got a bunch of good teams.
mm, all right, so at number 6, the last of the day, we got the Houston Texans. That's 6. Somebody else want to go?
So the
I'm kind of.
Texans they were the division winners last year. I don't think anybody thought going into last season that the Texans were going to do what they did, and they kind of surprised people, especially CJ Stroud's play. I like what they did in the offseason with the trade for Stephon Diggs. They got Danielle Hunter to shore up their offensive line. They added Jeff Okudah, who was previously with the Falcons, to shore up that back into their defense. They also got Joe Mixon in a trade for the Bengals to replace the running back that they lost during free agency. And I like what they have done to really build up the team. I have to look at their draft. I don't have all their draft picks off the top of my head, but they did really solid to shore up the team. And I think that the Texans are getting to repeat to go to the playoffs. I really like D'Amico Ryans as a coach. I like what he can do with that Houston Texans defense. I think the offensive side of the ball is solid as well.
For the draft picks, they got Kamari Lassiter, Blake Fisher, Kalen Bullock, Cade Stover, Jamal Hill. I don't know how to say his name. The running back out of Louisville, Jahar Jordan.
Yeah, that's how you say it, Jahar.
Solomon Byrd out of USC, edge rusher Marcus Harris, Auburn, and Ladarius Henderson, Michigan.
And I think they had a solid draft. I think what they try to do was they're like trying to shore up their back end. Because I think in some games last year, like they just had some issues on the back end. And they also had issues rushing the passer because obviously they drafted Will Anderson. I mean, Will Anderson had a really good year, but you need more than one pass rusher in this league, so that's why they added Daniil Hunter from the Vikings. So you're gonna have him on one side, and then you're gonna have Will. Who you can really play anywhere. There's a reason why they're number 6, man. Offensively, they traded for Stephon Diggs. CJ Stroud had one of the best rookie quarterback years that we've seen in a while, at least in the last 10 to 20 years. So you got that. You got Stephon Diggs, and you got Nico, who had a really good year. He caught over 1,000 yards. He just got paid. And so their offense. Their offensive line is really good. So it was good last year, and even going into the season, it was hurt, and they still performed really well. Offense. I don't think offense is really a concern for them. I think their offense it's just going to get better because CJ is going to be in the system for another year. Like I said, defensively, they added a lot of pieces defensively to get better. And so for me, my only question is their back end is it's the corners and the safeties. And if the back end holds up, they're going to be a really tough team to beat.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think quarterback 2 is a big question for them. Like, I don't know how y'all feel about Okuda, but I just don't think he's it at the cornerback position. I do like their safety. Yeah, but it's really the cornerback 2 position I have real concerns about. The Stingley healthy, that's a solid corner for them. It's just I don't know, but I don't really have too many concerns about the defense because, like I said, D'Amico Ryans, I think, is a great defensive coordinator, and he'll have that defense working. So I don't really have too many concerns. And the additions that they made on the offensive side of the ball by giving CJ Stroud a bona fide wide receiver 1, I think that was great. Plus, you still have Mechie and Tank Dell, and I'm not sure if Robert Woods is still with the team, but that's a solid wide receiver core that they have there.
I don't think Robert Woods is. I thought they let him go. I'm not sure. I could check though.
With the depth
chart?
Yeah,
I don't think he's there. But I think that
wide receiver 3 is. They got Tank Noah Brown, John Mechie. Yeah, they got Robert Woods still. They still got
Robert.
Yeah, he's still on the roster. I don't think he's gonna play though.
I think he's probably.
He might be a camp cut.
Yeah, it might be.
He might make the squad behind, but I think he's behind Noah Brown and John Mechie though.
It's showing that he's Stephon Diggs' backup, but then they also traded for Ben Skorowski from the Rams. They trade for him.
Oh, they did get Ben Skorowski.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And they also drafted Xavier Hutchinson a few years ago. So, they have a pretty deep room. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, they have a nice young core that can grow with CJ, and I think it's really solid. And I think Joe Mixon with the Texans, I think that is a solid running back for him. And I just like I like what they've just done during this offseason. I just want to see what they look like during the season because I think this is a team that could be one of them top 4, top 5 teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I was going to say, this team could very well be a top 5 team in the whole NFL next year. By the time the season's over. It's a very possible thing.
I'm a little like I don't know. I'm a little scared of like people being a little harsh on CJ if he's not able to duplicate last year's production. You know what I mean? If it don't look the same or whatever. I mean, sophomore slumps happen, right?
I mean, they
Yeah,
do. I mean, they do. But the only good thing for CJ is that I mean, like his offensive coordinator was getting requested to interview for head coaching jobs, but he did, but he came back. So I think that's a
Yeah, I
big
remember
thing.
him turning down a couple jobs, right?
Yeah, so I think it's big for CJ just to have the same OC for the second year in a row. And a lot of quarterbacks that are very successful early in their career, like you don't really get that. So that's why I don't think that. I mean, his numbers might not be exactly the same, but I don't think it's going to be called a slump. Like I mean, maybe they might try to run the ball more, so therefore some of his passing yards might not be as much. But
I thought they should have moved. I thought they should have kept I don't know, Singletary over Damian Pierce.
I mean, Damian Pierce is still on the contract, but then they traded for Joe Mixon, so I mean they're pretty set to run back. I mean, like they have Mixon and they have Damian Pierce,
yeah,
so
that's
they're
a solid 1-2
solid
combo
move,
at the
man.
running back position.
But just from looking at it, like looking at Damian Pierce that first year to last year, it looked like I don't know. It looked like I would have liked to see Singletary and just me personally, I would have liked to see Singletary and Mixon in the backfield. That would have been nasty.
But I feel like I mean their running styles aren't too similar, but I mean, and I mean, I think Singletary he went to what the Giants. So I think he won.
Yeah,
So he didn't want to be a backup to anybody. I don't think. And
yeah,
I
because
mean,
They
with
could.
the
I don't.
Giants,
I
he
don't think did
probably
the
be the
Texans even
starter.
offer him though? Did they get? I think they moved on pretty quick, right?
I mean, they
Nah,
moved on because they probably knew that they might be able to get Joe Mixon though.
That could be it. I just
yeah, because you got to remember the Bengals were gonna waive Joe Mixon. The Texans came in at the last minute to say, "Hey, we're gonna give you this late round pick if you trade him to us."
Yeah, I mean, they
right.
gave him a seventh round pick, which I mean, all intents and purposes, is really nothing. So
Yeah, so but
Like I don't know.
it secures that they get him instead of him having to pass through the waiver wire and stuff like that.
Just when
yeah,
I was looking at Damian Pierce the other day, like I'm looking at it now again. Like he had 150 carries last year compared to 220, but he only had half the production with only 70 less carries, and he
well,
went
yeah,
from almost 4.5 yards per carry to 2.
well, I mean, yeah, because they changed the scheme. Like the scheme, I think the previous year it was more of a
Power.
power scheme, and then last year it was more like a zone. It was more of a zone blocking scheme.
And then listening to Mike, they say that boy can't find the holes in the zone running scheme.
Yeah, I mean, like not every running back is able to operate in that zone that zone running scheme. And Damian Pierce just, I don't know, maybe it's gonna take him some time to adjust to it. Maybe I mean, maybe it took him a year to kind of be able to see the holes better. I mean, but he's not gonna get. I mean, with getting Joe Mixon, I mean, he'll get carries. I just don't know if it's gonna be as much as like one. He got 150 last year. He might not even get 150 this year.
You think it'd
So.
be a lot less?
I mean, Joe
Possibly.
Mixon can do it all. Though. Joe Mixon can run,
Yeah.
he can catch the ball. So chances are Damian Pierce is going to get less playing time. Those just unless there's an injury to Joe, but Joe has been pretty durable. I mean, knock on wood. So
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, to me, like moving off of him. I mean, if he can't run the scheme, you might well have moved off of him, right?
I mean,
But he's still a solid running back,
well, he's
you
that, and he's
know.
still a rookie. Like he only played 2 years. So I
Yeah, this
mean,
is second year
yeah.
for
So
sure.
Yeah,
he
he's
and
cheap.
Third,
and,
we're going into his third year.
and I don't think that they drafted him. I'm not sure if they drafted him in the first round or not. I'm not sure.
Nah, I think he was a
Like
mid-round
second or
pick.
third.
Yeah,
Fourth,
second or third.
fourth.
Fourth? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I
they
mean,
don't
I,
they
I
don't
just
have
would.
too much money tied into him right now.
Yeah, so I mean, he's still a serviceable guy. So I mean, he had a really good first year. So I'd keep him on the team for like the duration of his contract to see if he could turn it around.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think him to Tennessee would have been fire. Were they
yeah,
still running a power scheme? I think he need that power scheme. He fit well in that power scheme.
but
He was averaging like almost 5.
do we notice they're running the power scheme because they got a new OC in Tennessee, and just by their running backs, they don't.
Who's the OC?
I forgot who they hired. I think it's the head coach because the head coach was the OC. I think I forgot who they hired though. What the hell was his name? They hired Bill Callahan's son. That's who they hired.
And his daddy was coaching someone went there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they were both coaching with the Browns, and he got the job there, and then his dad's gonna be the O-line coach. So I mean, maybe they might be running the same scheme that the Browns will run. I think I think they run a power run scheme with the Browns. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, like I don't know if the scheme going to be the same because like their running backs are Tajay Spears and Pollard. So I mean, those aren't really like
Those aren't power back.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we just gotta see.
Hey, Ready Red, how we in the top 5? What? Never mind. We ain't gonna argue with you, bro. Why wouldn't I be in the top 5? What are you talking about? Nate, you over there right now looking at the screen like, dang, they got Saquon, AJ, Devontae, Dallas, Jalen. They got top 5 offensive line, questionable defensive line. They got the 2 best corners out of the draft, arguably to some people. Damn, I guess we find out what we at next week, man. I mean, I could be 5. Could be 5. Just hey, look, Ready Red. Instead of worry about me being top 5, get out the divisional round, brother.
Oh wow.
It's sad. You still in the divisional round and you ain't skipped them wolves yet. I'm 1-3, and I done got out of the divisional round more times than you have in 30 years. I think you 4-9 in the playoffs in the last 30 years. Sad.
But you're 1-3 in the Super Bowl.
I mean, the reality of it is, he's just gonna say he's got 4 Super Bowls and you got 1.
Yeah,
he ain't see none of them. He hoping to see.
When they went to the Super Bowl, they won.
He praying for his kids to see a Super Bowl, man. He praying for his.
You can still watch some things on YouTube, man.
You can go down to the thrift store and get the VHS if you want to be classical.
I mean,
that's
I'm just
true,
saying,
but you technically have a losing record in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've seen my team. I've actually at least I could say since I've been a fan, I've had the opportunity to see my team win a Super Bowl and lose it. He ain't seen neither one. He only watched it on YouTube.
And
I watched mine live.
I'm
that's fair. That's fair.
The second thing I can say is I was able to celebrate as an adult and enjoy my Super Bowl win. He didn't get to do that either.
According to the chat, he said he's been to 3 Super Bowl parades. According to the chat, so that's what he said. I guess he got you there.
Nah, we was talking about he talked about in the city. He not saying for Dallas. He said he's been to 3 Super Bowl parades in his city. Mavericks too. Didn't they hockey team win just recently?
But the Mavericks, that's not a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he said Super Bowl. He said he saw 3 Super Bowl parades in the city. That's what he said.
When?
He said 3 Super Bowls.
That's what he said. I'm gonna go by.
Man, we were just arguing the other night. The man, I'll pull it back up. Me and the man were just arguing. He was talking about, man, I've been to parades in my city.
I mean, the question is, how old is he though? That's the question. Because if he's my age, that's feasible. Because I was born in '87.
92, 93, 95.
It's possible. I mean, as long as he's over
2,
30.
3, and 5. He was probably born in the 90s. 2, 3, and 5. He don't remember that.
I mean, does it? As long as he was there, I don't think it doesn't really matter how old he was.
2, 3, and 5.
And I ain't really trying to take up for a Cowboy fan because I don't really like the Cowboys either. So,
they all right. Whatever. Don't worry. It's been a long time since they smelled any victories.
But I'm trying to.
I'll take my 1-3 over being 30 years of watching it.
He's 44, so he definitely.
Oh yeah, he watched them.
Oh yeah, he
definitely.
Well, that's even better. You watch 3 of them, and then you watch them fall off the cliff. You've been watching the cliff steady go down as you've been living. You've been since '95. You've been in a lot of pain. You've been in a lot of, and every year. Other than see, Eagle fans, one thing we don't say it's our year. We just be like, man, we gonna try to get back. Y'all been since '95 for 30 years. You an old man. You was what? 14, 15 last time they won. Yeah. So you've been saying this since your teenage years. Man, it's our year. And you've been watching them boys get whipped. You should have told your owner to stop minding other people's business, and maybe we wouldn't have had the salary cap, or free agency, but he wanted to play games. See, y'all might would have had some more, man. Yeah, you know. Ever since Jerry Jones prayed to the gods that if you give me one more, I promise you. He got that one more too, but he ain't got another one. For real. Is that really true? I hear people troll about it, but did he really say he prayed to get one more Super Bowl in '94 when he fired Jim Johnson? I heard it was like an interview. He said it like, "Oh, I prayed for that one more Super Bowl," and he gave it to me or some shit.
I don't know.
If that's true,
like
that means you curse for real. This man prayed to the gods and cursed y'all forever.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Cowboys ain't my team, but that's not my division. So
I hear people in like spaces say like, "Oh, your owner prayed in '94 that you get one more Super Bowl, and y'all got it and never got another one." Well, if that's true, well, that's a bad look.
Well, I'm just saying, if they don't make it at least to the divisional round for conference championship, like with the pieces that they have now, I just don't see it for them.
I mean, I don't think that's their biggest concern. I think their biggest concern is Dak. Like, you do not resign Dak. I mean, quarterbacks do not grow off of trees. Like, there are trees that have good quarterbacks, and then you let the quarterback go. And you can look at the Commanders as a prime example. Like, they franchised Kirk Cousins for 2 years in a row, and they let him go to the Vikings.
And been in purgatory since.
They ain't had a quarterback since like Jaden Daniels. Like, and I don't even know how good he's going to be because he ain't played yet. So that's
exactly. And I'm not a big fan of the upcoming quarterback class, so I just don't see it. And then Trey Lance, I don't know how people feel about him. I don't know, like.
I just don't think Trey's played enough football for anyone to have any opinions about him, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not enough sample size. I just don't.
Doesn't that give you an opinion though? Like, if they're not willing to put you on the field, it's like something you're not doing, right?
No, it's not that. It's just he went to a team where they already had an established starter. He's not starting over Dak. And then
I'm saying before that, I'm saying like when he was in.
He was supposed to be started and he got hurt. So that's what I'm saying. He just hasn't played.
He got hurt twice.
Yeah, I mean, he just hasn't. I mean, if you go back to his college career, he hasn't played a lot of football since high school. Just hasn't.
He hasn't played a lot in college. What do you? I don't even think he played but one season in college, right?
Yeah, that was his first season. And that was
COVID,
during the
right?
COVID year. Yeah, that was during the COVID year. He became the starter of that. What's that? Western Kentucky, I think. I could be wrong, but
that was his first game against Western Kentucky. I know he came from North Dakota.
Okay, it was North Dakota. My bad.
Yeah, so
he came from the same school as Carson Wentz.
Yeah, he just hasn't played a lot of football. That's why I don't have an opinion. I don't know whether he's good or bad because he just hasn't played enough. Until he actually gets on a team and plays for a whole season, then I'll form an opinion. But I'm not.
That's what I'm saying.
Because he hasn't played.
A lot of people, like, when I listen to like 49er fans, are like, that's the only people that's actually seen him play. They're like, all the scouting reports was wrong. He probably shouldn't have even been picked. Like, they say he was athletic, but then they put him in the game. He was slow. They said he was accurate, but then he wasn't throwing good passes. Like, I felt like what Shanahan said was when he traded him was like, we failed him. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, when they said that, I'm like, how do you argue when the head coach say like we might have failed our job because we you know what I'm saying, we didn't do it right?
I hear you, but if you really look at that draft class during that COVID year, that quarterback class is terrible.
He in there with what? Zach Wilson and all them boys?
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
Justin Fields, Mac Jones. I mean, pretty much the only viable guy right now is Trevor Lawrence. That's it.
Yeah.
And he on the fence.
No, I'm not on the fence. I'm not like the rest of y'all dudes on Twitter that every time I bring up Trevor Lawrence's name, like, oh, you know, I mean, the decisions to be made. No, I think Trevor is good. Now, the label he came in with into the league, he's not living up to the generational guy, but he's definitely more.
He's a solid. I think he's a solid quarterback. I think he's one of the young talents that we're going to see over the next few years. I just, to like Jamie's point, they were touting him as a generational talent coming, but like even before he was drafted, that year he played LSU in the college football championships, it was he is going to be the generational talent in next year's draft. He just hasn't panned out to be that, but I think he is a solid quarterback in the league.
I think the reason I don't know. I think the reason they say it's so much on the fence is probably because of what you just said, Mick. They said this man was supposed to be the best thing since Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. Like he's supposed to have been like the top dog, and he ain't really. And it's kind of the coaching staff and the team too, because they're not saving him from himself. You know what I'm saying? Even when he like, you can literally see the man is hurting. He can't do what he normally does. They're like, oh, you want to play? All right, Trevor, we're not gonna stop you. Go ahead. Like with that ankle, when we watched that one game, Mick, in the space, and everybody's like, why he keep dirting them balls like that? Like he dirted like 4 or 5 balls in a row. And I was like, are they gonna figure out if he's hurt? Is he okay? And they just let him keep running. I'm like,
well, they also didn't have a viable backup either, man. Like they had
who was it? Beckford?
Yeah, Beathard. I mean, Beathard was the backup, and I wasn't high on Beathard in college, so I was never really high on him. So I mean, he just wanted to play. Like I said, like he's gonna get a second contract. Like, there's no way to let him walk out the door.
Oh
so
no, I definitely think they pay him for sure.
So, and I mean, like, yeah, I mean, he had a bad second half of the year, but I think he'll be fine. Like, I mean, they lost Ridley, but then they added Brian Thomas Jr. to the mix. So, and I mean, like, they have a good running back. Like, they have a good running back room. They got their line. They just need to stabilize their line, which I think they tried to address. So, I mean, you gotta see how that looks.
For sure.
I think I don't know, like when he came out, people put that label like 45 plus 100 yards type guy, 35 plus touchdowns type guy. Like they put it out there like he was gonna be the next one, and like I don't know if it's Jacksonville or him. You know what I mean? It could be Jacksonville, just poor management of the team. I mean, that could also be part of it.
It could be a combination of both, to be honest.
Yeah, two things could be true.
I mean, but I think the Jaguars' issue is not Trevor Lawrence. I think their issue is that division. Like, you got the Texans, who a lot of people think they're Super Bowl contenders. You have the Colts, who were one game away from making the playoffs, and they didn't have AR. And now AR's coming back. And then you have the Titans had a solid offseason, and the Titans' success just really depends on what kind of quarterback Will Levis is. So I honestly think the Jaguars' biggest concern is Trevor Lawrence. I think the biggest concern is their division.
That division, some shaky stuff happening in that division. Like last year for sure. I'm like, oh, Jacksonville got it locked up, and then they just go like on like a tangent of like super bad games of like they look just like us. Like went on a super tangent of bad games and couldn't get it right, and then when they stopped the bleed, and it was too late. Like, and then I didn't even know like the Texans be beating them that much until I like really like look somebody really like put the record in the jumbotron one day. I'm like, the Texans
they
really
be
be
beating
beating
each other a lot.
Yeah,
that's one.
I think the Texans won like what 10 or 8 or 9 or something like out of the last like 12.
I think it's 10 of 11 or something like that.
I didn't even know that.
But I mean, that's the only team that does that to them. Like the Colts don't beat them like that, and the Titans don't beat them like that.
It's literally just Texas.
Yeah, so it's just I mean, it's just one of those situations. I mean, but it's like that in most divisions, though. I mean, most divisions, I mean, like you have one team that you just can't beat for some reason.
It's like y'all with the Jets. Like the Jets can't beat y'all for nothing to save their life. They be y'all could be 0-14 and have 2 games left to play against the Jets, and you can guarantee you coming out with at least one, maybe 2.
And then you have that, and then I mean, the Brady years, like the Dolphins gave us the most trouble. I'll say it like that.
Oh yeah. What year was that? What year was that when y'all was like fighting for like the number 1 seed and y'all needed to beat like the Dolphins at home?
It was a 2019. It was.
And they ended up getting the win, right?
Yeah, I mean, like they beat us, and we got we didn't get the 1 seed. We got the 2. No, I think we went from 1 to 3 or something like that.
I remember that, and they was horrible that year. They was like they wasn't playing for nothing. They was just like, you know what? Let's beat the Patriots.
I mean, that's how rivalries work, though.
Division rival games are always the hardest games.
It's a lot of division rivals that's nice too. I'm ready to see them this year. It's a couple of them out there that I want to see
Hey,
I
listen,
definitely.
I'm just saying this. There's a team people been talking about in my division. I just can't wait for the season to start.
Oh,
I just can't
Falcons.
wait.
Oh, I already know.
I
And
can't
I
we
wait.
already know.
talking about the Falcons. We're shoot, we already know that.
I can't wait. I've been hearing a lot of chatter. Okay. All right. Let's
Yeah,
see.
15-2. I'm ready to see it.
Hey, bona fide playoff contenders. I want
No,
to see
no,
it.
no, 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 no. We will not just give them playoff. They said they are Super Bowl contenders.
Well, I hate to say this, but when I was in the spaces last year, the Saints. That's what they were saying about the Saints. And they got Derek Carr last year, though.
Okay, listen, J Mick, I wasn't in them spaces, and I'm gonna tell you now, when we got Derek Carr, I did not think we was going to the playoffs. I'm keeping it a buck. I was infighting with people in my fan base when I said he is not the quarterback that's going to take us there. I
Yeah,
don't
but you
know.
can't deny that when he joined that division, he was the best quarterback in that division. Like, I don't think you can lean up going into the offseason last year. Like, nobody was saying that Baker was better than him. Nobody was saying that Desmond Ridder was better than him, and Bryce Young was a rookie. So nobody, like, he literally came in. That's what people were saying. Like, I didn't disagree with it either, though. Like, he literally was the best quarterback going into the season. It's just that
That's fair.
Baker had a really good year. That's all, and then he turned
That's
out not to be.
fair. But the thing is, I was telling people I think the Bucks were going to win the division, and because I said I think that team is solid. Their only question mark is Baker Mayfield. I had too many questions still about my own team, including our offensive coordinator. I didn't think Pete Carmichael was it, and that's why I didn't think Derek Carr was going to be successful.
Hey, anybody got the Chicago Sky and Fever game on? It's a good game.
No, don't say nothing because
I've been watching it. I mean, since we've been doing the pod, they're not gonna
Me too. It's a 2-point game. It's going crazy.
and don't say nothing.
Come on. All right.
Nah, don't say nothing, bro. I'm waiting for that game to end so I can watch the playback.
No, it's been a good game though. It's been a really good game.
And I was hoping for overtime, man. That's what I was hoping for.
Man, I just say this. I was really anticipating this game, especially with Cardoso making her first start for the season. I really want to see how she looked with the Sky.
She looked a little rusty though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure.
She ain't played.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying
like
no.
Doing her career. No.
You could tell like it's small things that she did. You like that's from not being in the game. That's just from like just mental.
Yeah. But I'm liking it.
I ain't gonna lie. The one thing I did like about it was I liked to see what I seen out of Reese. Like she know when she see food and she going like.
Facts. They got another. I gotta look up her name. I can't remember it, but it's another girl that's on the Sky. She a dog, bro. I think she a center for him. I think she they center on the Chicago Sky.
Oh, when you talking about what's the name? Erica Williams. That's
yeah,
Erica. I was just gonna say that. I couldn't think of her name for now. I'm like.
Actually, it's not Erica. It's actually and Elizabeth Williams. Actually,
Elizabeth Williams.
And Elizabeth. I knew Williams. See, I ain't the only one to be messing people's names up and thinking of different names. See, I'm glad J Mick did it with me.
Nah, Elizabeth Williams, I like her play.
I mean, so they got her and the two. I mean, like that team got a bunch of trees. Shit,
bro.
I think they need a little bit better guard play.
And Reese, I said, bro.
How long Juju got left?
Rebound that team.
I mean, Juju got 2 more years, at least 2 more.
Two more before she can get drafted.
For sure, yeah. I mean, he got at least play 3 years.
I think Paige can come out this year. After this upcoming season, I think Paige can come out.
This is Paige's 4th year, ain't it?
Yeah.
Paige might end up in Indiana, man.
I mean, with how they playing, bro.
I mean, what they 2-8?
Yeah.
Sheesh. All right, man. We at the 1 hour and 55-minute mark. I'm pretty sure my sister is going to start a space at some point. But we got to vote. Yeah, the last 5 is probably gonna be shaky.
Yeah, I think Dre's gonna start a space. I mean,
Dre's gonna start it today.
Okay. How long before he get home? Maybe we can wait to vote.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that, man. For the top 5, we should probably just wait on him. Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's the top 5, man. Like, I think this might. This might take longer than any other group that we voted on thus far, man.
Facts, because I know somebody gonna be arguing hard for their spot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who? Listen, I told y'all I'm only arguing one thing. I only can argue one spot. I just need to argue that spot so I can be in the middle of the pack. Cause the other spot, I already told y'all who I had at number one for the other spots. I really can't argue that. I know who's gonna be number one. I really can't argue that they number one. Let's just be honest. I know.
I can't say I can say I have two potential teams that could be number one. Just based upon how we've been doing. Just based upon how we've been doing.
The second one gonna need a little favor. But the first one, if everything go how it's supposed to go, they should be number one. And then just as long as that one, never mind. Ain't gonna say too much. But we appreciate y'all for coming out, supporting the podcast. As y'all see, Smitty gonna fight for them birds, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fight for the birds. They gonna fight for the Saints and the Patriots, you know what I'm saying? As you should. Yeah, and Ready Red, appreciate you for coming out, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, every time you come out, I'm gonna shoot at you in the crowd because 95 is a long time. But until next time, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter. If you follow us on Twitter, man, we be in a lot of spaces talking sports. It's not always troll sports. Sometimes we having some real conversations, man. Y'all can tap in, give us a little word about your team, man. We appreciate it. Follow the CheckDown podcast on Twitter, CheckDown_NFL. Tap in with us. We're gonna try to do some special things here in the next upcoming months, man, with that page, or to interact with the fans and the people. Anything y'all got for the people before we get out of here?
Man, it's June 1st, man. I mean, it's less than 100 days till the first game of NFL starts, man. It's coming up pretty soon.
Guys, no, just keep tapping in with us, and hopefully we can keep bringing y'all some great content.
Until next time, man. Love.
Yo, Philly fam, I'm back.